Alright y'all, this is another video to where I'm ill prepared. Where we at? Parkside. Yeah, I'm familiar with this area. At least kind of. U43. I don't know how well the sound quality is going to be when I'm done this shit, but I know this is kind of loud, so, and I know I don't have the loudest voice in the world, but we're in West Philly, Parkside, working our way to the east side, which is Richmond Cumberland. So this is like the S route. It's going to end in Port Richmond. You know what I'm saying? So we're just going west to east. Now Parkside, this is like 50th for Parkside. So we're by Fairmount Park. We're just north of Girard Avenue on the west side. Yeah, I've been coming up here quite a bit recently, so I've never taken the 43 down this way, but anyhow, we're going to see some interesting things on this route.
Parkside and Bella for Route 38.
That's Belmont Avenue. We're going to see some interesting things. We're going to see, well, the art museum, for one thing. In a little while. So we're going to be very close to downtown, basically. Now I'm very familiar with this route, at least for the most part. I haven't taken like the whole thing. I usually use this route to go to the art museum and visit tours. Let's see. Like I had no preparation in uploading this, or filming this, I should say. So, because you know the bus just left the depot and just got right to driving. So. And I had to choose the back seats most of the time when it comes to these recordings. And the reason why let me explain why. Well, first of all, I don't know if y'all can see it. Okay, now you can. The billboards that they put on these windows, right, blocks the view. I mean, even if I'm not recording, I don't like to sit where they have the billboards on the windows like that. Because especially, let's say it's nighttime, it's dark outside, then you really can't see it. So it might look nice. There might be a nice little decoration on the outside of the buses. You know, like advertisements and whatnot. But it's a very bad idea, visually, when you're trying to see where you're going. So I just want to point that out. Hopefully this trend ends or something. They need to stop doing this. Because it doesn't seem to have a real purpose. But hey. I was in the middle of eating, and this bus just showed up. Like, don't worry, I'm going to stop rambling on about other shit in a minute and just focus on the route. We got a charter school on Parkside Avenue. Now the message says we're going southbound on Parkside. I can never be sure a lot of times, but we're on Parkside Avenue nonetheless. Okay, yeah, we are southbound. Because I know Gerard comes at the time. I just gotta make sure because some of these streets are diagonal. So. Yeah, this is Parkside, y'all. Check it out. Now, much like the rest of West Gerard, Parkside also has had a history of gangs, drill. Parkside, no Mantua, Zoo Gang, O to the 4, which I don't think is much of a thing anymore. Like the most recent years, because of Larry Krasner to the securities guys, they'll get killed. I'm talking about going back to like COVID, 2021, 2022. When the crime rate was just out of control. So during that time, like the whole west side of Gerard was just out of control. We're still going southbound on Belmont. We're at Belmont and Gerard. Yeah, I stopped by McDonald's before I hopped on this bus. For any of you that have misophonia like I do and don't want to hear these noises, I humbly apologize. Okay, so anyhow, just past the road, we're going to stop on Belmont. Still. Got wildness. So I'm kind of learning the rest of this route as I go along, because I've never taken it like all the way, like I've done most of these routes, let alone recorded most of these routes. So we got Belmont and Westminster. I've only really taken this route to the zoo. Well, not maybe not the zoo, the art museum. All right, we just turned on Lancaster. And I'm guessing we're going eastbound on Lancaster. Now, I have taken this bus in the past, years ago, with my younger sister. She was seeking faith. She went to a church down here, and that didn't age well. Because it turned out that the church is coming up on, I think, like 40th or 39th Street, in Spring Garden / Lancaster. But pastor turned out to be a pedophile. I'll just leave it at that. But he's powerful, so if other pastors can't take him down. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it. But it's a long story. I've never really trusted church all that much. I think it's phony as hell, but that's just my opinion. Yes, I said hell, pun intended. But anyhow, yeah. So it's around this area, basically. We're still going eastbound on Lancaster. I think we're going to merge into Spring Garden. I think. Somehow, some way. And we're going to look at the borderline downtown parts of the city, like the Art Museum, Community College, Florida Spring Garden, Subway. We'll cross over and look at the east side. All right, we're passing Fairmount Avenue, which looks hella small up here. All right, that's the church. I think that's the church that we went to. I was trying to make my younger sister happy, you know, especially back then when I had a lot of demons, drug problems and whatnot. And I didn't understand anything outside of drinking and fucking and smoking weed. So, popping pills, the whole 9 yards. So, I had a hard time connecting with my family during my 20s. I'm just being honest, folks. And on top of that, I don't want to make this ride too boring. So anyhow, we're at 40th from Lancaster. I don't know, maybe that's the church. Yeah, actually that might be the church right there. Yeah, that's the Lancaster and Haverford. These are like West Girard streets, West Philly streets, Lancaster, Haverford, Okay, here goes Spring Garden coming out right here. Doesn't matter. Just took a huge wide turn on Spring Garden. Then we're going eastbound on Spring. So this is the Mantua section. So I know Mantua and Parkside are pretty close to each other. So we might make a couple of turns here and there. I don't know. Especially because we got to get through the art museum. And that's going to be a big circle to go around. But it looks like for the most part we're going to stay eastbound on Spring Garden. Like even for West Philly, Spring Garden still looks relatively pretty decent. I mean, yeah, it looks a little bit ran down because it's West Philly. I didn't grow up in West Philly. I'm from Northwest, so to me this looks kind of strange. And I'm talking about West and Southwest. Like Parkside looks pretty nice to me. What else? Overbrook looks okay. The Winfield might be the best neighborhood of West Philly. But outside of those areas, West Philly can be pretty rough, pretty sketchy. Because I guess Winfield and Overbrook would be like the better parts of West Philly because it's by City Line Avenue. This isn't like the worst, probably not the worst part of West Philly. At least not the worst looking. Now, if this was like 60th Street, Spring Garden, I don't think Spring Garden stops at 40th, I think. But like let's say like 60th and Collow Hill or something like that. Like basically like going towards the west side of Market Street. Yeah, it'll be a whole different story. This is definitely a nicer looking part of West Philly. All right, 31st, Spring Garden. Okay, so we're just going to stay on Spring Garden. can see the sign, Mantua. So this is like around the zoo area, not too far from the zoo. The zoo is on 34th and Girard, which is not too far from here. So now we're like leaving West Philly at this point. Got some train tracks. I think the regional rail runs down there. And now we are about to come up on the Art Museum in the summer. A couple blocks down, Art Museum. So, now if y'all remember back when I filmed Route 32, we passed by the zoo, and then the art museum shortly afterwards, which they're both not too far from each other. Okay, so here goes the art museum coming up. So we're going to be going around it. So I'm going to try to lift this thing up from time to time because I really do want that to be seen. Okay, now we're, well, that was quick. And now we're leaving it. I thought it might take a minute, but apparently not. As you can still see it. Right there. Go. Nice tourist spot. So I mean, you want to get your Rocky on, take pictures of the Rocky statue. Go up and down the stairs, get your exercise on. This is the place to do so. So we're going to continue going eastbound on Spring Garden. Okay, so within a block or so, we're going to be passing the Community College of Philadelphia. But I don't think y'all going to see it. It's going to be on the other side of me. I just thought I'd mention it anyway. So we are basically borderline downtown.
Please be advised, SEPTA will arrest and seek prosecution of anyone who commits any act of violence towards an operator.
So this is like the end of North Central. Like North Central basically starts at maybe Cecil B. and ends at Spring Garden. Technically. I might argue that Susquehanna can be considered North Central as well. But I still think it's fair to call that still like North Philly, true North Philly, for the most part. If you're from Philly and you're watching this, you know what I'm talking about. Let's see. All right, we're at 20th and Spring Garden, so I know the community colleges. Community college, I think, is on like 18th for Spring Garden. This is definitely one of the better parts of the city. You get closer downtown, it definitely starts to get nicer. So, yeah, 17th, 18th, Spring Garden. Yeah. Unfortunately, you guys won't be seeing the community college. It's pretty nice looking, pretty big, but we have actually passed by it on Route 2. When I was taking Route 2 northbound, so I think we passed it briefly. You can definitely see that. Not all of it, because these are pretty tall buildings. So I'm guessing these are pretty like advanced schools. This is 16. All right, so we're going to hit Broad Street in 2 blocks. Got a little pizza restaurant across the street. Actually, a couple restaurants. So we're going to hit Broad, one more block down, and we're going to continue going east. We're going to continue going eastbound. We're going to see what the east side of Spring Garden looks like. So especially if you're close to downtown, if you're like close to Broad Street, Spring Garden is one of the better streets in Philly. It's there has been a little bit of gentrification. It was a little bit more hood back in the day. Police cameras on the corner and whatnot. You got a Giant, which I do go here sometimes.
Spring Garden and Broadmoor Woods 4, 16, the B-Line, PCA and Ben Franklin High School.
Which takes up the entire block, square block. I didn't realize the Giant was that big. Speaking of, that Giant has only been there for like a couple of years, maybe 3-4 years at most. Yeah, this Giant is still fairly new. Even Fairmount, going to Fairmount got gentrified a little bit too, to where it's no longer like really the hood anymore. Became less urban and more civilized, for lack of better terms. So therefore, it could look nice. It starts to get nice when you're getting closer downtown. All right, here we are on Broad Street. Crossing over. This is the subway entrance. A couple of schools in the background. This looks like this used to be a school. But they're turning it into something else. I'm not really sure. But this used to be school looks really old. Like those buildings look old. Alright. That's the 13th. And my mother used to work here years ago. I don't think that's the building. I think it's across the street. One more block up. Or is it? No, I think that's the building. Genesis. Yeah, she used to work at Genesis, King Village, drug and alcohol. Or that's the building right there, next to that big church. That might be the building. I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't even look the same. But anyhow, she used to work up here years ago. which is how I've gotten familiar with Broad and Spring Garden. We got plenty of businesses. They don't look to be in the best shape. It still looks a little hood-ish. But still, however, like the buildings, some of these buildings look a little bit more ran down compared to how I thought they would look in this part of the city. But nonetheless, I think the further we go eastbound, it'll start to get better. As we go like into like the Northern Liberties area, Fishtown, because that's where we're heading. I'm guessing this might be like the Northern Liberties neighborhood. What are these close to? We got an Asian wholesale store. You can come jump Alright, let me stop. I ain't trying to make fun of Asians, folks. I don't get down like that. I'll maybe in prestige wrestling I'll do that. Okay? You know, for just pure comedy. But actually, yeah, we are pretty close to Chinatown. Actually, I didn't even think about that until Chinatown is basically just maybe a few blocks south of here, like 8th and Race and Vine. Yeah, we're around that Chinatown spot. I was kind of wondering why the Asians still would be there, but it makes sense. Okay, we got a Edgar Allan Poe National Historic Site. I don't know much about novelty, so y'all can tell me what that's about. What's that supposed to be? don't know much about science books. Don't know about the French that I took. Alright, anyhow.
Black and white bag. My blue bag is black.
Alright. Passing 6th Street. Passing the TD Bank, 5th Avenue, which is a big avenue in Philly, 5th Avenue.
Spring Garden and 10th for Loop 57 South.
Let's see. Okay, I'm definitely familiar with this spot. I used to walk up this way when I would go to OVR. OVR used to be at, 3rd and Spring Garden? Years ago. Now it's downtown. They relocated. It's a job program. Shout out to OVR.
Wait, where my other earrings? I don't like earrings like that. I don't like them. Like, I think these and numbers make them look like I don't know, like it's like a girl, but I want like a girly girl, and I want it so. I'm like my hair.
Stop requested. Spring Garden and 3rd for Loop 5 and 57 North. Stop requested. Front seats are reserved for seniors or others with special needs.
I might want to try one of these Asian restaurants. I'm getting hungry, y'all. And I do love to eat out. Especially when I be making these videos. You just know I'm going to grab me something to eat before or after I'm done. And mind you, I can cook. But when you love to get out a lot, you're going to end up eating out a lot. Because you're not always home eating your own food. Unless I guess you pack a bag. But are you always going to pack a bag every time you leave the house? You're always leaving the house? So, yeah. So I guess sometimes if you're outside often enough, if you're not just only going out just to go to work, you're going to be whining and dining, you know. Second apartment. Okay, so now we're passing an L. Yeah, so we're passing the L. This is the L stop. I have this on video. I have with the light showing and everything. So this is front and Spring Garden. I've always loved this little spot down here where they got the lights. This is a little cool design to show the Spring Garden station.
Spring Garden and front.
So I know we are definitely in Northern Liberties now, which is just north of downtown, just north of Penn's Landing. Alright, so we're passing Front Street. Here we are. Columbus Boulevard to the right and Delaware Avenue to the left. All right. All right, so then we're going to be going northbound. As we're getting close to the end of the route. Because we got to get to Richmond Cumberland, so that's going to be a little bit north of here. Let's see. So I'm guessing this route is almost done. This is not the longest route in the city. It's longer than I thought it would be. But most of what you'll see in this route is going to be obviously like nicer parts of the city, close to downtown. I think the part of Port Richmond that we're going into is going to be fairly decent as well. Like Port Richmond has its bad sections because of being close to Kensington, but I think it's got its nice sections as well. It's got its nice parts. That's in Frankfurt Avenue. Okay, so this is I guess you could call this Fishtown. It looks like or at least we're going into Fishtown. I'll know for sure once we hit Girard Avenue. Okay, yeah. I don't see Girard, but I do see Columbia Avenue. And we know Columbia and Cecil B. Moore is the same street. So I'm guessing Girard doesn't reach all the way to Delaware Avenue. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with this side of the city. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, so we did. Yeah, we are north of Girard. So Richmond and Cumberland is actually coming up in a minute. Those Burks. All right, here goes Aramango Avenue coming up. And Richmond. Now Delaware Avenue is to the left and Richmond is to the right. That's what the sign says. So we're basically by the I-95. By the I-95. By I-95. across the street, I see the 43 bus going the other way, so I'm guessing we're about to make a left turn. This is a truck back there. Alright. I don't want my food to fall out the seat.
Stop requested.
So, Aramingo Avenue, Delaware Avenue, it's all about a river. It's all by the Schuylkill River, is all by I-95. This is the last stop coming up right here.
Stop requested.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, this is Cumberland. So this, I remember this from Route 39. All right, this is the end, y'all. We out here. Peace.